Good morning. This is John Harder addressing the BillionCoin community here from beautiful Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, Zona Romantica. I just had to throw that in there because of this zone that we're living in, and I'm wondering if this Zona Romantica has the name because of this, what used to be a club across the street here, and now it's just a store. Yeah. Anyways, I think that's probably all I'm going to say about that. What we want to talk about, actually, you know what? Let's announce the title. That may be a good starting point as well. So, ways of building communities of health and prosperity using TBC. And this is broadcast number 140. Wow. It took me about an hour from when I started trying to get on until it finally worked. But we are here. I'm here, and it's going great. It's going great. It's awesome. Now, here's what I want to do today. I want to try to convey a point that that I personally wonder if there are a lot of people that are in the TBC community, but they're sort of, how should we say this? Because we don't want to step on anybody's toes or make anybody feel guilty or anything like that, because we realize, I realize, I don't know who all realizes it, but I do, that there are many people that wouldn't that just wouldn't want to do a broadcast, hardly even if their life depended on it. There is also many people that are very occupied with this insanely busy thing they called making a living. The world that we live in has been geared up and has been very, very, how should we say, very effective. The controllers, the manipulators of the world, manipulators of humanity, they have been pushing, you know, let's actually just build a picture here for us and see if we can convey what I'm talking about. There's this pyramid. This pyramid, the exact thing that is being taught in schools everywhere that is so bad. It's a scam. Pyramid is a scam. Remember this, okay? All right. Every time we use the word pyramid, pyramid is a scam. All right. So now that we know that, there's this pyramid structure that has been set up, and this has been planned for like thousands of years. And there's one burning question that is, you know, that we are faced with, and I believe this very few children reach the age of 6 without having this burning question within their mind, like, where do I come from? And of course, you know, when we ask the parents, well, you know, God made you, or I mean, there are so many different answers that children are given, but not a single one of those answers is really able um, to pinpoint or depict the, you know, to really paint a picture of what the exact answer actually is, right? What the exact answer would be. And this is a thing that I believe has been science has been trying to answer this question. That's what they've been trying to do with science. Now, let's recognize something here, though. Science, as well as politics, as well as the school curriculums, as well as the banking system, as well as the pharmaceutical system, as well as all major corporations, have been under very strict and very tight control of the very top of this pyramid. All right. All right, so what goodness. All right, so what exactly are we talking about here? What is at the top of this pyramid? You see books. You see many books, ancient scripts from way back before there were any books, tablets, you know, that were hewn in stone, and encryptions that have been encryptions, as well as writings, I suppose we could say, that have been put on tablets. This was before the invention of paper and whatever have you. And all of this has, for all of these years, been under very tight and very strict control as to what information is being passed on to the general public, to the people. Now, I almost said the word civilization, but I'm going to leave that word for another time. I really don't want to get into civilization in this broadcast, because we're going to leave that for another time, because that is a very different meaning from what we're talking about here. Now, maybe right now you're thinking that, wow, what does civilization really mean? I dare you to dig to the bottom and find out what the word civilization means. People use this word so freely out there, and I dare you to gain a real understanding as to what that word actually means. So, all right, now I've got that off my chest. Now we're going to keep on building on this pyramid. All right, so there's this pyramid. It's a structure of power. It's a structure of power. Now, I want to give us a clue. I want to give us a little bit of a clue here, and hopefully we'll be able to gain an understanding from this, and that will help us to move forward in life a little bit easier. All right. So this pyramid of structure, what it has been designed to do is to it's kind of like it's kind of like the very top with this all-seeing eye in there has very carefully been structuring this the entire structure on the idea that all the power sits at the top of this structure. And what they've been doing is they have been using many manipulations to push fear, the feelings, the feelings and the propaganda, using propaganda and false teachings, false ideas, and false flag attacks, false this, false that, false the other thing, everything upside down and backwards from reality, pushing towards us, instilling fear and uncertainty into the minds of humanity, making humanity think that the power is all at the top of this pyramid. Meanwhile, teaching in all the schools and curriculums and all of this, how bad pyramid is. Any pyramid, any person who comes with the idea of, comes up with the idea of a pyramid is a scam. Now we got to ask ourselves, is it? Is it a scam? I think we could indeed conclude that it is. It actually is. But we were always being blinded how bad a pyramid is and all this stuff, to not start a pyramid or join a pyramid if somebody else started a pyramid of some kind. Because this is bad. You know, you're being scammed. While all of this time, this pyramid structure has been scamming us into thinking that all the power sits at the top of the pyramid. Now, the other day I was on the phone with my brother, one of my brothers, and I'm going to let you guess if you want which one, because I got 7 of them. So you can guess if you want which brother I was on the phone with. All right. So now that as we were talking on the phone, we were talking about this kind of stuff here, and I don't remember the exact you know, conversation, but you know, all of a sudden he says, well, it's like when someone is sitting and milking a cow, and you knock the stool that he sits on out from under him. Okay, somebody sits, he's milking a cow, and what you do is you knock the stool out from under him or her, whatever. Now, it is kind of a comical picture, but because you get in your mind, right, okay, knocking this, you know, how that person would land on its back, spilling the milk all over himself, and the cow would probably kick because of what's going on. Who knows what all would happen. Now, this cow that was being milked all these years is humanity. We were being milked by this top of the pyramid, by the banking cartels. All right, we were being milked, and we were made to think that you don't go thinking outside of the box. This is dangerous. If you go and you start trying to figure out something, you're treading on very thin ice. If you start thinking outside of the box, outside of what everybody else thinks, outside of the so-called norm, you are considered crazy. You're considered, you know, a couple of bricks short of a load, whatever. You know, if you dare to think a little bit different than everybody else is. What do we mean by everybody else? You see, in school, in the school systems, it was only about how good the government is, how much we need the government, and how you are to pay attention to authority, how you are to, without question, you obey law. Law is it. Law is what you obey. You don't come up with any smart ideas. No, no. You just obey the law. So, and that kind of thinking. And then, of course, army. Army, joining the army is the ultimate best thing you can do, because, I mean, after all, this is for the security of the country. Yes, because there's a big enemy out there. There's a enemy. Oh, there's a huge enemy out there. We have to fight. We have to fight that enemy. Yes, yes. Matter of fact, why don't we in the country turn people against each other? Black against whites. Black, you know, have. You know, get people to go and beat up the homeless and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, I mean, if after all, it's about love, isn't it? It's about taking care of people. It's about having a heart for people. Wow, you know. So now, where am I going with all this? We need to knock that stool out from under the one that's milking. It's time we knock that stool out from under them. And the milk, the stool they're sitting on is all of us. And what they're milking is our sweat, is our life force. That's what they're milking. So how about we start working together? How about we start, you know, how should I say, working on a common purpose. Working on a common purpose. Now, I'm not here. I am not here to tell you that don't think outside of the box, don't do any. That's not what I'm here to tell you. That's not what I'm here to tell you. What I am here to ask you is to consider that we all work for one common purpose of freeing humanity. Freeing humanity. I'm not using the word civilization. I'm not using the word civilization. I'm going to, in fact, if there was a way that I could entice people to go and do research and find out the real, true meaning of civilization, that's what I would like to, you know, if I could get people to do that research for themselves, that's what I would lead people to do. If that's, you know, if that's what they want to do. You want to know. Now, how do we, since this top of that pyramid, the entire weight of the top, so we have the banking cartel sitting at the top. Then we have all the major corporations, and we have all the medical, the doctors, the scientists, all of this stuff, all controlled from the top of the pyramid, very, very carefully guarding that what humanity gets is very, very carefully filtered propaganda. That by the time it reaches the classrooms, by the time it reaches the average person holding a job and so on, that all of the news, all of the so-called reality is so distorted that they won't have a clue what's going on, and they are constantly being drilled. Don't you start thinking differently than everybody else, because that is dangerous. And then have people of their own peers turn against them. Oh, laughing about when somebody seems to be a little different. Oh, that, yeah, laughing about it, or beat them up or something. How long are we going to keep getting deeper and deeper enslaved while we're busy laughing at our own peers who are trying to make something of themselves and trying to figure out life, try to figure out the meaning, trying to make headways somehow? Now, how have they been controlling us all this time? They've been doing it because they have gained control of the monetary system. Yeah, but the monetary system is owned by the government. Is it? Is it? Is it owned by the government? Actually, it's not. It's owned by the manipulators. The major corporations are all owned by the manipulators. Under the major corporations are the armies and the legal system, all of the governments. That's slower than that. We thought the government was on top, controlling everything. That's far from the truth. That's far from the truth. So how do we do this? How can we knock that stool out from under this top of the pyramid? By changing how we use money. By changing how we use money. By changing how we, as the people, how we do business. We can so easily move out from under the system. You say, well, all the tills in the stores are all geared for the fiat money. Yes, they are. They are. Which is why we need to start finding other ways than going to the stores. Stores need, if they want to keep doing business with us, they need to start taking at least part payment with a different monetary system. It's called TheBillionCoin. It's called TBC. And when we stop using the money that everything is set up for, they will have to change, because we're no longer cooperating with that system, because we want to build a system where we can help each other, where humanity can help each other and prosper, and cut out the ruling cabal, the whatever we want, you know, whatever name they have, doesn't really matter. But we no longer need to be enslaved to them. We no longer need to be enslaved to them. It is no longer necessary. So I urge all of those watching this video that we figure out ways. And by the way, TBC, for those who are in TBC, TBC does have a very nice system that you can plug into. You can find this system when you create a free account on cryptotbc.com. You click on cash flow. And what that is all about is it helps you, while you still need some fiat money, but it helps you build your capital of TBC while still generating fiat money as well, to get along for now while we're switching over to the TBC economy. Okay, so that's what's available to you now. For those of you who are in TBC and you're sort of wondering, I wonder when I'll be able to cash out my TBC, or when will I be able, you know, I mean, after all, I don't have hardly any money, and it's so hard to make a living, and I really need to be able to sell my TBC. Do you? Do you need to sell your TBC? I think you need to use what's in there. You have something up in your head. There's something in there, and you should use it if that's how you are thinking. Okay? Because if you help, instead of sitting and waiting and wondering and watching what everybody else is doing, and when is this going to all happen, instead of doing that, you could use what you have up in your head. There is something in there, and you could use that. You could use that to whether you want to simply engage and work with people, bring the, you know, help people to tune in to this changing of the economy, or whether you want to literally just simply plug into the system and follow it and use it and create cash flow for yourself, create lots of wealth for yourself, for your future, and also make plenty now to make a living. How's that for size? Instead of sitting and wondering, when is TBC going to move forward? Why don't all of us TBC people, why don't we all just, you know, just sit down on the couch and wait? Let's wait. Let's see what's going to happen. Wow. So I think if we engage, if we get busy, I think we can accomplish something. I don't think so. I know so. Then we can really accomplish something. So I believe that I have pretty much said what I wanted to say. We have a wonderful system that is in place for those who want to plug in and use it to create cash flow and to, of course, share TBC with other people so that we can reach our goal much quicker. Okay, it's there for anybody or everybody who wants to get engaged, you know, who wants to engage and help with promoting. And of course, we have the Free Energy Project, which I'm going to be working more on very soon. We are right now we're in the middle of moving to a new place, and once we're settled in, then I expect to be more involved with that again, and get to get a you know, there's actually my brother. Two of my brothers are also working on it. One of my nephews apparently is in on it too. So that's awesome to hear. I didn't know this until just recently that he was also involved in it. And of course, we are connecting with people from many countries to help move the project forward. Once we have the prototype built, so we can do the testing and all that we need to do, that way we will be able to, that will give us all the data we need so that we can actually, you know, come to a conclusion as to what size, you know, how big the units need to be and so on to produce the, you know, different levels of power, like 5 kilowatt versus 10 or 15 or 20 or 60 or 100, whatever it is we need to generate, because obviously we're going to be powering greenhouses, the large greenhouses even. When we building this economy, this new economy of TBC, of wealth and prosperity, well, we're going to make, we're changing it so that all this commercialism is going to basically disappear. The way this world is set up is with so much commercialism to try to soak as much tax money out of the people as possible, where we're going to come in and we're going to change it back to local, where people locally meet all their needs, or basically, and of course, there's always going to be some things will need to be shipped, but mostly everything will be supplied locally so that people can thrive without all of this money going out into the shadows that is paid for shipping and packaging and all of the things that it has to go for, impoverishing humanity. So this will turn everything around, that humanity will thrive, as opposed to keep on being more and more impoverished. Okay? So thank you so much, and I want to actually acknowledge those who have been here. Andrea, thank you so much for joining my live broadcast this morning. Thank you, Marjorie, for moderating. And we got Prasanth Kumar. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah. TBC kind of exchange, and you kind of answered it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for asking those questions. I hope I have answered it. The best answer I can give you for that question about exchange is that you plug in and follow the steps in the system, and that will help you create cash flow that you need. Not only that, but it also helped you build up your wealth for when we do change, when the economy is changed. It's in the middle, or I should say we're in the beginning still, but we are changing it. Businesses are beginning to accept TBC, and this will increase very much over the next few years. All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out with me, and I really hope that I have stirred your curiosity about what civilization means. Because I think people need to know what these words mean that we so freely use sometimes, and very often don't have a clue what they mean. Usually they mean the exact opposite from what we think it does. All right. So have a wonderful day or night or whatever it is that's in front of you.